reviewing all the numbers, that all the bids were really close, which is a good sign, and also that the just say lack of addendums. Okay, so you didn't have a lot of RFIs and just one addendum on clarification. So what that's telling me is you put together a really good package on this bid, and I want to compliment you on that. Should I stop there? She wouldn't know how to take that, but.
Now, Andy answered the bus for me the other day. So,
Motion.
motion to approve.
Second.
Bash,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Higgins.
Yes.
Newton.
Yes.
Passes unanimously.
And the next one is 2F, Nancy Musenhelter. Not even close. Yeah, come on up to the microphone.
Mine's a small one, but it's very important to me. We're building a room, a bedroom and a bathroom on the back of our property. Property is less than a third of an acre, but it's zoned at a half acre. So we had to come up with the requirements for a half acre. So then we asked for a variance. We received the variance, but I'd like to get the money back that we paid to put in the fee for the variance, because it was a lot of money. And I can afford that very well. But that's my request.
Okay, thank you very much. I appreciate you coming.
I appreciate you helping me.
Steve? Yeah?
Well, I'll give the staff report that just says.
Quick overview. That'll be fine.
Yeah, the funds are established, or our fees are established by an independent auditing firm that the city hires every couple of years. And based upon the staff hours it takes to prepare the item for presentation to the approving body, in this case the planning commission, they come up with the cost to cover that, or the fee to cover that cost. And then that recommendation is later presented to the council and adopted. So the fees are established to cover costs. And so if the fee is refunded, then it has to come out of the city's general fund, which is funded by the city taxpayers. So.
Thank you.
Questions, Steve?
I've got, yeah, I've got Ted Hoffman too.
Thank you, Mayor. You know what? I listened to the Blackwood property on First Street when I was on planning commission, and nice people. And I'm not trying to be a hardliner on this thing, but we just heard the guy from Hamner Bridge talk about the need for almost $6 million for a bridge fund somewhere. We're working on an ad hoc committee that's projecting we're going to have a $4.5 million shortfall annually on trying to get our roads fixed. And I'm going to say the same thing on FNG. We got to quit waiving these requests. We have to deny them because we can't afford it. There's no more freebies anymore. And that's just bottom line. We as a city and our general fund cannot absorb any more of these waiver of fees, no matter what we do. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted. You have something, Greg?
Steve, this property, it was zoned to A120?
Yes,
Okay, so and it was also just legal non-conforming.
yes.
And what is the amount of the fee for a variance on this property?
You know what? I didn't bring it with me. It's right around $3,000.
And the variance was the only way this could be accomplished with this room addition?
Yeah, as the applicant stated, the lot is substandard, and the only way for them to be able to meet the standards of an A1 zone was through the variance. Well, not meet the standards. The only way for them to move forward is to get a waiver from the standards.
Right.
Variance.
All right. Thank you.
That's all the cards I've got. Motion? I'll make a motion to approve. F, deny. Deny the waiver request.
Second.
Under discussion.
Yes.
The problem that we have is that, I mean, I'd love to give you a waiver, absolutely 100%, but we just can't. I mean, I can't anyway, can't speak anymore, unfortunately, and I'd love to, I'm speaking for myself. Every group in the city that once was given favors, nobody gets favors anymore. I'm thinking now how to raise $6 million for a bridge. I don't know if you qualify for our housing program, it might be a little bit too late, but the thing is, I just want you to know that I wish we could, but for me, I just can't, and I feel bad about that, but I can't have other taxpayers subsidizing what you're trying to do. Thank you, Mr. Mayor.
Bash,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
passes 4-0.
And item G is Ted Hoffman.
Mr. Mayor, my same sentiments, we cannot waive these fees for these folks. I mean, it's just, we can't afford it, just like what I said previously. We can't burden the taxpayers in the general fund for these fees, no matter how they classify their project. We're gonna have a shortfall, and you know it. I sit on the ad hoc committee, and we just cannot afford it. We gotta bring as much funds as we can in the city. Thank you.
Thank you. Motion? Under discussion. Need a motion first, but go ahead.
I too agree with this denial, because it's on RCTC, and I know how much trouble we're having collecting TUM funds, and development has been way down in the county for the last several years, and it's just started back. So like Kevin said, we need money for the bridge, and a lot of that's going to have to come out of the TUM fund. So I got to uphold this deal here. Thank you.
Need a motion for G?
Can I ask a question?
Yes.
Steve? This one seems familiar, like this has been hanging around, this denial or this request waiver for a while. What is the amount of the TUM fees that they want to have waived? Did you bring that?
I did not bring that. So, I don't know. I have no idea. I couldn't even guess on this one.
50,000 square feet at
Over $18,000.
$3 a foot or something? 270,000? Okay, so $150,000. And the basis for denial on this is that it is not a government building and the building doesn't meet the qualifications of a Class B building.
Correct.
Thank you.
Okay.
Bash, Hannah, Higgins,
Yes.
Newton, passes 4-0.
And that your motion denied both the waiver of the fee request and the appeal of the building classification.
And we're into the public comment section. If you haven't filled out a card, please grab one and fill it out and turn it in. And you have 3 minutes. It's on an item that's not on the agenda, and because it's not on the agenda, we can't ask or answer questions or anything like that. We may refer you to a staff member after the meeting. With that, Carol Coroa, Carol.
Carolyn Correo with Waste Management, Your Honor, City Council staff. I am your representative for Waste Management. I'm very proud to be serving the City of Norco. And I wanted to come tonight to talk to you a little bit about some of the programs, and I would hope to be with at your pleasure, come at least once a month to talk about some of the programs and services offered to the residents here and the business community in the City of Norco. You should have received one of these flyers in the mail either last week or the beginning of this week, and it talks about the different programs and services offered to the residential community. We've already received 4 requisitions or requests for the Sharps container, which is a unique program to the City of Norco. It's a program whereby a resident that has Sharps or uses it either personally or someone in their family for testing or injecting, or if they have animals that they need to be doing injecting or testing for. We want to keep those Sharps out of the waste stream. So this is a mail-back program. They call us, we deliver it to their home, we Waste Management. When it's filled, they package it back up in the container it came in. It's a prepaid mailer. Give it to their mailman, they ship it to us, we recycle it. If they need another one, just call us and we'll send a new one. So that's a really good program. And we'll be sending a mailer about that program as well as informing folks about the bulky item collection that is offered to them. That'll probably be going in the mail the end of April, 1st of May. This is what you'll be seeing at the end of the month. Also wanted to let you know, because I'm very proud of this, I've worked for the city, for the company Waste Management for almost 20 years, all the way from the Inland Empire north to the Central Valley. And I've never had a city that had the exceptional diversion rate that the City of Norco has. As Mayor Higgins mentioned, we're diverting away from the landfill. And in 2014, the City of Norco had 64.29% average for the year diversion. And you don't have anything like that in the entire corridor of the 15 freeway. Maybe not in anything in Southern California that I'm aware of. So they're all to be congratulated for 64.29% for 2014. And actually in March of 2014, a year ago, there was 66% diversion. And that's just awesome. Not only do you have a huge, awesome diversion rate, but you have, and you should be very proud of this, I wasn't here, oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I wasn't here during the negotiation, but your rates are really excellent. You have the second lowest rate of all the cities that Waste Management serves out of the Corona office. Corona, the city of Corona is actually $21.20, which is the lowest, and Norco is the second lowest at $21.47. And then it goes, San Bernardino County is $22.48 a month. And then it goes to Yoruba Valley, which is $24.07 a month. Riverside County is $25.16 a month. And then the city of Eastdale, your neighbor just north of us, is $25.22. And those are 2014, 2015 rates. They'll all change probably in July.
Thanks, Carol. That's good news.
It's my pleasure. And I look forward to seeing you. I'll see you in May. Thank you very much. Do you have any questions?
No, we're good for you.
Thank you.
Ted Hoffman.
Good evening. I just want to invite everyone. This Sunday is the sunrise service up there at Ingalls Park. And Bonnie back there will be starting at 6:30 in the morning, be riding up to Ingalls Park, and we plan to invite y'all to ride up with her. enjoy the services on the sunrise service on Sunday. That's April 5th, and the service is at 7 a.m. on there. Also, on April 12th, on Sunday, we are having the NHA is having its first obstacle course and single person sorting. And again, we invite y'all to come on up and test your horses out and have some fun with us in NHA. Thanks.
Thanks.
The obstacle course, sign-ups at 8 a.m. All right.
Bill Russell. Hi there, welcome.
I have a residence on Valley View, and next door, renters moved in and they have a dog rescue. They have 15 dogs or more at times. I've had Javier, our code enforcement, out, and Melvin at the animal shelter out. They were working on it, and then things went silent. And then I wasn't getting emails or phone calls returned. So this was my last resort. On the way home from work today, I got an email from Javier, and Melvin called, and I talked to him for half an hour or so. They also were out today. Those people are being cited. I guess it's now going forward to the city attorney, hopefully. But the main concern here is noise. My family, we can't even get a full night's sleep because the dogs bark all hours, day, night, 2 in the morning, 4 in the morning, 6 in the morning. She feeds them whenever she wants, and when she feeds them, they bark. She has like 4 or 5 personal dogs, they bark as well, and they get the other dogs barking. So I found out there's no noise ordinance for dogs in Norco. And so why can't we get a noise ordinance? And what do we need to do to get that going? Called the sheriffs last night. They told me it's an animal issue and I have to call animal control. Animal control says, they told me now today that there's no city ordinance for noise, but there's a county ordinance for noise. And so the sheriff should be able to come out and cite them for that. But, you know, how do we get a city ordinance?
We can't really interact with you because it's not an agenda item, but you might check with Lieutenant Riddick after the meeting if you'd like. And talk to Brian as well.
Okay.
But I appreciate you coming.
All right, thank you.
Thank you. Pamela Smith.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. Quit looking at me, Kevin. Okay, I just have a couple quick announcements. Thank you. The first one is a question. What is Memorial Day? Memorial Day is far more than picnics and beer. It's far more than the river. Memorial Day is about remembering those that gave it all. We have a Memorial Day ceremony. That's not me. May 25th, it will be a dawn to dusk salute to the flag. The idea came from, I call him young, but he's 40, but I'm old. Young vet at the Legion who came up with the idea. Talked to Kevin, met him at the memorial, he loved it. Talked to Herb, he loved it. 15-minute salutes to the flag with our local veterans and then youth groups who can kind of step in if, like Lewis, you all know Lewis, can't quite make it. Which, by the way, Herb, we're waiting to hear what times you're signing up for. Yeah, he's ignoring me. Yeah, you can't respond. Yeah, chicken shit. Scratch that from the record, sorry. Anyway, it's going to be a very moving event. The official ceremony will be at 11 a.m. We have speakers such as Vietnam veteran, Purple Heart recipient Johnny Griffiths, Major General State Senator Richard D. Roth, our own Vietnam veteran, Mayor Herb Higgins, and we're hoping you'll all be there, and we need veterans to sign up for the 15-minute slots. So if you are interested, there's a sign-up sheet at the American Legion on their board, And, or if you have questions, see me or see Lewis Wright, which most of you know. The second announcement that I have is regarding our annual Norco Area Chamber Military Appreciation Luncheon. It will be on July 15th. It will be at Fairfield Inn. We are currently looking for sponsors. We need money, and here's why. 50% of the proceeds are going to veterans charities. No other chamber in the area, in the region, gives money to charities, period. They may have their nonprofit wings, but they do not donate directly to charities. So 50% of the proceeds will be going to veterans charities. And with that being said, I want to thank our platinum sponsor currently, which is Miss Jody Filkins Weber, with the law offices of Jody P. Filkins. She is our current platinum sponsor for us. So thanks, Jody. So hopefully we'll see you all there. And Kevin, you haven't told me how much you're donating for that. Thank you.
Roy Hungerford.
Hello, everybody. I've been meaning to bring something up, but we haven't made it to some of the meetings. But since Horse Week is coming up and the parade is coming up, I want to share an experience from the Parade of Lights thing, which I've talked to Pat about already, and regarding the parade route on 6th Street. This year gave me a unique perspective of the parade route from the exiting off of the freeway and ending off on Crestview. So I want to share that with you. What I would like to get the city to do is look at the circulation plan around the parade route, and also the start and the finish line of the parade route. What I would like to propose, and for you to consider, is I think the starting point should be at Corona instead of Valley View, and the staging area should be between Corona and Valley View, and I'll tell you why. Is due to some circumstances, I wound up on the 15 freeway just before the parade, because one of our rigs was involved in an accident on the way here. So when we finished with that, it was about 4:30, the parade started at 5, and I came back up the 15 freeway and was going to exit on 6th Street. I got to tell you, most of us probably have not done that because we're either at the parade or working or something like that. It's a mess. It took me a long time to get off the freeway. The traffic was backed up all the way down the freeway. Finally, when I got to the signal on the off-ramp, it was jammed and chaos, and people were yelling out of their windows. The gentleman at the barricades was just leaning against the truck, not giving directions, not doing anything. The traffic was just snarled. So people didn't know whether they should turn left, turn right, whatever. Sierra was packed all the way down to 5th Street. 5th Street all the way to Valley View was packed. It was a mess. And so this is what we're setting for our people coming to visit us when we claim we're a destination location. I think we need to look at that. The way I look at it for the traffic circulation is that by moving it one street up, you would allow a lot more flow in the city. Maybe more directional signs that they could go either right or left. And it gives them two streets, both Sierra and Valley View, to turn down and find alternate locations. And I think your traffic flow would help the freeway exiting traffic. So the ending part, I also got to experience that because I walked down with our carriage down the parade route. And I think the parade should end at California instead of Crestview. And again, I'll tell you why, because when we got to the end there, it was chaos at the end. And in fact, the city carriage got stuck in the chaos, and we had to have the posse come help us. We actually stopped our carriage to help their carriage. But the traffic was backed up from 6th Street all the way back down Buckskin and to California. And there was even an accident at the corner down there. So I just want you guys to seriously think about your parade route and your traffic circulation. I think the city is growing. I think it has outlived that parade route parameters. So, thank you.
Thanks, Ray. Item 5A is a second reading. Want a motion? Do you want to read it? You got a motion down there? Go ahead.
Bash,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Newton. Passes 4-0.
And item 6 is a discussion action item, appointment to the ad hoc committee on infrastructure needs and funding options.
Yes, Honorable Mayor and City Council members, this item is a consideration of appointments to the Ad hoc Committee on Infrastructure Needs and Funding Options. Currently, the committee consists of 9 members. It's 2 council members, 4 commission and advisory council appointees, and then 3 resident appointees. At the last City Council meeting of March 18th, the City Council suggested removing the 2 City Council appointees and appointing 2 resident appointees. It was also suggested that the resident appointees were taken from a list of attendees that attended the ad hoc committee meetings on a regular basis or a frequent basis. Now, attendance logs are not kept at the meetings, so I referenced the minutes from the meeting since June of 2014. And the list that you see there on your left, on the screen, is a list of attendees for the committee meetings. The items, or the names highlighted or in bold, are residents that have shown an interest in serving on the committee. So that would be, again, the ones in bold. Below that, Mr. Randy Bird, Ed Dixon, and Glenn Hedges have spouses that are currently serving on the committee. Lance Gregory, Jeff Cahan, Vern Showalter, and Lisa Campbell are not able to serve or didn't show an interest. And Dan Folick and Amy Folick did not respond. Lou Palsa is not interested because his wife is interested in serving. To your right, I also included as an option to the council last year's applicants for the ad hoc committee. I've contacted the applicants from 2014, and again, the ones in bold are interested in serving. The last name there, Raul Garola, did not respond to my inquiries. So the options for this item are to appoint the 2 residents or to just maintain the committee as a 7-member committee. If the council chooses to appoint 2 residents, I do have ballots here for you to complete. If you have any questions, you have an answer.
Thank you. Greg? Discussion.
Sure. Well, I always believe that good discussion brings good results, so I'd like to attempt to appoint 2 more residents to the committee.
Berwin?
No, I think the ad hoc committee's been working real good like they are, and with you guys on there, and if you're going off, I'd have to go with option 2 is not to fill it. That's my opinion.
Kevin?
Having sat on that committee, if you haven't been going to the meetings, you have a lot of catch-up. And I don't know, I know Ted's gonna go anyway. Mike will go, Bonnie will go. I'm kind of going along with Berwin. Maybe the way to go with this is that just go as we are, not appoint anybody new. And I would encourage, especially on that right side, there's some really excellent people over there. And what I'm hoping is I'm gonna see their names in some commissions and, but I think right now, I think just leave it the way it is, let the 7 be there, because, I mean, the work that's been done there is massive, and to catch up would be tough. And like I said, I think the other people interested are gonna go there anyway. So that's all I have to say, Mr. Mayor, thank you.
Thank you. I have 2 cards. Ted Hoffman?
Well, Kevin, I'm going to agree with you. And I don't have an opinion one way or the other, whether you want to add the 2, fill the 2 spots up there, or if you get rid of 7. personally, I agree that if you haven't been there, you won't be able to contribute. That being said, it isn't so much who's going to be on that committee, but what parameters are you going to allow that ad hoc committee to go to? In other words, there are no sacred cows. Everything is open for options. Every money saving, every type of revenue getting thing needs to be done. You need to give this committee a chance to do their job in coming back with ways to find out how we can fund this $4.5 million shortfall. And like I said, that's the important part of the committee, not so much the people that are up there, because as you said, I'm going to come whether you put me on or not. And I'm going to put my input as a citizen and resident of this community. But it's up to this council to give them the proper direction and allow them, like I said, nothing's sacred. That committee has to be given an opportunity to dig, find money, and go into places where money may be hidden, or find new revenue sources. Thank you.
Thanks, Ted. Jody Weber?
Thank you, Mayor and Council. As you are aware, I am currently serving as your chair on the ad hoc committee. Following our last meeting, I wasn't aware, but obviously was educated that the council had decided to return the report and asked us to engage in additional work. Let me remind you that we have diligently worked since June of 2014. Upon further reflection, and obviously as your chair in outlining a potential discussion course for our initial meeting, I've had a considerable amount of time to think about what not having the mayor or Councilmember Bash on and where the direction the committee could go. And with that in mind, I want to raise two things. I believe it would take a considerable amount of effort to educate anyone who had not attended any of the meetings. It would take a tremendous amount of time for them to go through all of the materials. And I'm afraid that there was a lot of discussion that might have been lost in just in minutia that we got into that may not have been captured by necessarily some of the documents that were presented. There was a lot of details, and certainly that would require them to read all the minutes. With the goal that has been presented by council and by the mayor at the state of the city, I have a plan in mind of where we can go with that, and so I don't see that there's a necessity to replace either of you. So I think that we can proceed with our work with the 7 members that we currently have. I'd also like to just bring up, again, upon further reflection on where we're probably going to go. At the last city council meeting, you did pass a motion, likely upon my suggestion as well, that we break up the report and send it back to the current commissions, Streets and Trails and Parks and Rec. Again, now that I've thought about that, I think that's going to just prolong our duties. And so I'd like an opportunity for you to reconsider that motion, allow the committee to meet. We're currently scheduled to meet on April 13th. Allow a discussion of free flowing of ideas among the current 7 members and additional members of the public that would like to participate, to put us on track of where we're intending on going. And if my inclination is correct, that we probably could complete our goal within 30 or 60 days to do what it is that you are looking for, based on the plan that I intend on presenting to the committee. So with that, Lynn, thank you.
Ambitious. Thank you. This is different than public comments. This is an agenda day.
I'd like to agree with Jody. I think that I see no necessity to replace the 2 because of the lack of information that the new people would be up to date on. Conversations that took place aside from agenda items, things that were not casual conversations in there, that were not in the minutes. There's just so much that they would have to be brought to speed. Ted would not have to be brought to speed because he attended every single meeting. I don't know of anybody else that attended every single meeting. And I also agree with Jody. We have representatives from each of the commissions. And hopefully they've been doing their due diligence and taking the information back to their commissions. And information could then come back to us. I do not see any need to send the report down for further debate within those commissions. We're going to be having a definite direction, according to Jody. I don't think this will be a long process, but it will be incredibly intense and no room to bring anyone up to speed at this time.
Thanks. That's all the cards I've got, and,
I put a card in for this.
okay,
It should be up there.
yeah.
I gave it.
John? Didn't see it.
You put 5A. You missed your turn.
It was 5A and you can't, and it wasn't, no.
Well, that's nothing new.
Go ahead, Mr. Dixon.
Thank you. 6A. Sorry about that. I too was at a lot of these meetings, and I was there, and nothing we suggested ever got to the city council. And I hope that this new ad hoc committee has some teeth and can be able to do something. I don't know which direction the council is going to vote tonight, but I highly recommend Ted Hoffman as one of the candidates. Ted's been around this city for many, many years. He has a lot of good ideas. He's a hard worker. And if you put him on the ad hoc committee, he will definitely have a vote. Thank you.
Thanks. I tend to agree with the comments that I received and heard simply because I was on that committee with Kevin. The reason why we're coming off is because it was developing into what could we vote for, what we couldn't vote for, because ultimately we were going to see it again. So it got to be a real conflict when we were both abstaining. So when this transpired, it was an easy fix. We would just step down. With 7 on that, and I tend to agree, there is no way, if you did not see every report, listen to every conversation, the inner working of every conversation, you could have a full scope of what is being discussed and ultimately what the decision needs to be. So I'm in the I just don't think we should fill it. I think we should leave it at 7. That's what my feeling is, so. Any other discussion on the item?
Is chairperson.
Yeah.
Yes.
You made a comment that you, with the present committee and makeup, you would be able to present a plan in 30 days?
No, what
or
I-
a solution in 30 days?
As chair,
Yeah.
I have developed an outline of what I would like to present to the committee on April 13th as to what our goals should be and a direction on how to achieve the goals that council has set out for us in returning the report and charging us with additional duties for reduction in cost and taking a look at potential savings. So with the plan that I would like to present to the committee, I feel if, certainly opening up, of course, to members of the public and my fellow committee members to present their ideas of how we can achieve the goals as well. I anticipate that with staff's assistance in the direction and the plan, if we go that route, where again, if we're on the same schedule, we're looking at 2 meetings a month, so we would probably be able to have 4 meetings and really be at a point with some of the numbers that we could potentially have an answer for council on where we can save some monies.
And
So
I'll
that's
stop
why.
you, I'll stop you right there, Jody, because that's beyond the scope of what this particular motion is
Sure, I
for.
just, I have a plan as your chair, and
Correct.
that's where I'm looking at a direction, and I'll take comments.
Thank you.
Can I add one comment, Mr. Mayor?
Yes.
Really, there's two names on that right list that I'm not gonna put them on the spot, but I'm really, one is very active and the other one I'm hoping to see be active, but they're outstanding. And I really hope to get them on a commission and just to, if you don't get put on a commission or it seems like it's a little disjointed, I tried to get on the Park and Rec, 3 times, Brian? In fact, the mayor never once, ever, never, ever, ever, never voted to appoint me to anything.
Because he never asked me.
Anyway, Mr. Ostrowski, I'm delighted to see you here, and I am so hoping you will get involved in the city because you are just top-notch, and of course Patrick, but those 2 guys over there are just first class. And again, Mr. Ostrowski, I hope to see you in here a lot. So that's all, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you. Have a motion?
I'll make a motion to go with option 2 and leave it 7.
Gerald, Chief Clerk.
Bash,
Yes.
Hannah,
Yes.
Higgins,
Yes.
Newton,
Yes.
passes 4-0.
And item 7, City Council, City Manager, Staff Communications. Anything that's left that we haven't covered? What is this? Is that finger push-ups or what? Yes, Lori.
I just wanted to inform the council, and we'll probably put it on our website, in conjunction with what Greg was talking about with CDA doing the borings on Detroit, they have proposed and are submitting it to us closure of Detroit between Old Hamner and Sierra for a month. It'll be closed during the day, working hours, but opened every night and every weekend. This is to make the connection across Detroit. They were hoping to get it started like this week, but we just found out about it yesterday, so we are looking for the traffic control plans, detour, message boards, so we're looking for a pretty intense traffic control plan. But just to alert residents that that portion will be closed during the working day. We'll see how things go. Right now we're looking for a 7 to 4 closure period, pending upon if we get complaints and stuff, it might have to be reduced back to like a 9 to 3 or something. But we're gonna initially allow them to do the 7 to 4 and see where it goes from there.
And with the contract awarded for 3rd Street, when is the staging and how's the posting going to work for the residents there?
What, pending the approval of tonight, I would like to have a community little meeting with all the residents, because a lot of the residents on 3rd Street will be losing some of their improvements that they've made out into the existing city right-of-way, but we don't want to just do the removals without informing them. So I'm hoping to send out letters and touch base with those residents and have whether it's a meeting out on site or actually here at City Hall, to let them know the status. We'll make contact with the contractor tomorrow, and then it'll be a little bit before it starts up. I wouldn't expect it to, even the construction start for a month by the time they do ordering of all their materials and stuff, get all their insurance and bonds and everything in place. So that'll give us time to talk with the residents.
Maybe we can schedule it in conference room A around 7, where the majority of the people.
Yeah, it'll be an evening meeting. And if we have to have more than one or touch base with 1 or 2 of the residents because they can attend a meeting at nighttime, we'll do that also.
Thank you. Andy?
Yes, I do have an update. Mr. Mayor, members of the City Council, at your last meeting, Ted Hoffman requested that we present an update with respect to the Automall sign upgrade. If you remember, the plan to upgrade the Automall sign was brought by the Auto Dealers Association. And following that, staff worked with the City Council as well as the designer to come up with a design to upgrade that sign. And as part of that process, a cost was determined, and the City Council approved to participate in the cost sharing, whereby the city will pay 50% of the cost and the auto dealers will pay 50% of the cost. Since then, the city made its own commitment to fund 50% of the cost, And the auto dealers have been having some discussions amongst themselves in terms of who participates and who contributes what to that remaining 50%. I have been following up with the Auto Dealers Association, and as of today, we know that they're probably going to be moving forward. And by the end of this month, we expect there will be a resolution in terms of their participation. To put some pressure on them, I have asked them or have told them that the City Council's obligation to this is good until June 30, so they need to get off and get this going. So I do expect to help. I do expect to hear from them soon, and hopefully we can get the work done before June 30, or at least get started before June 30. With that, Ted, I think that's the update.
Kevin, you got anything? Berwin? No. Greg?
No, thank you.
City Attorney ready to go home? We're gone. Thank you all for coming.